Pioneer Coach started in 2001, and what it is it's a high-end uh, entertainer bus company. And they're basically sleeper coaches. We build our own, and they cost about 800,000 plus, depending. We've built custom coaches for artists like Alicia Keys and 21 Pilots, etc. And those buses are usually like in the 1 million, north of $1 million. And if you have the money, we'll build it. And they're sleeper coaches. We also build 12 bunkers there for crew, and they're basically a hotel on wheels, and they transport, techs, crew, band, artists from city to city when they go out on these tours. And country artists, every weekend they go out, they have an entourage of about 3 to 5 buses and semi trucks, and it's basically their home on wheels. They do a show, the drivers show up at 11 o'clock at night, everybody loads up, and they move on to the next city. And the drivers have to be smooth and safe and good people. They got to be molly maids. They safely transport the client to the next city. They wake up in the morning, drivers clean their buses, and then they go to the hotels, and the band wakes up, or the artists wake up in the venue, and then they go and they perform their shows, and then they move on. It's really a nomadic life, very, and like I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of drivers and artists out on the road that are Masons, because they are travelers, and that's the industry that we work with, which is Pioneer Coach. And I've been with the company since 2001. I'm a manager, fleet operations, driver manager here, and we had a podcast, or we have a podcast. It's you can find it on all the podcast formats, called Pioneer Coach, an inside look. I think it was Pioneer Coach and Inside Look. But what the podcast originally started at was the first episode is the history of the entertainment coach industry, like where it started back in the 40s. And it started with old seated coaches where blues artists and country artists would rip out the seats in the back and basically just throw a mattress down so they could sleep in them. And then you fast forward into the 50s and 60s, and then someone went, oh, let's bolt a couch to the floor, and let's do this. And then they turned into like motorhomes. But motorhomes that could take 12 to 20 people on the road with them. And as it rolled into the 60s, they became almost what they are now, which would be bathrooms, TVs, couch, maybe a master bedroom in the back. And with new technologies and stuff, you fast forward in through the 70s and 80s, and you get these luxury coaches. And once the 90s hit, you started to get what we have now. And if your listeners want to go to our website, we have pictures of what we build in the interiors, and you'll be amazed at what our interior builders do. It's my Jeff White, who's our designer, used to work for NASCAR, and he just basically tells me, well, it's a glorified hallway that I have to make to look like an apartment. So that's really what he's doing. It's like taking a hallway and trying to make it look as comfortable as possible. And our website is www.pioneercoach.com, and go to the fleet, and you'll see some of the amazing builds that our guys do. And it is a luxury form of transportation. Through COVID, we actually, it was a lifesaver for our company because the industry's been completely shut down. But it was a tragedy too. The hurricane in Louisiana, FEMA used 42 of our buses to house the workers, and we were able to get paid for that. And it was almost a month or more of our buses down there. So thank God, for that, was able to give us enough revenue to keep the doors open. Everybody else is laid off. My drivers are on furlough, working for other companies as commercial drivers, but I'm looking at 95% of the drivers coming back in May, June, July, when the industry starts to kick in. So I'm blessed that way. But it pretty much is, like I said, a hotel on wheels to transport all the people that are involved in the shows that you see, whether it's at arena, stage, or sheds. We're the ones that bring them there safely. That's what we do.